Of course, that's such a good question. So we have a different and unique business model in this space. So Avalanche is really a different kind of platform. Almost everybody else is trying to be money. Almost everybody else is trying to compete with the US dollar or the European, euro, and so on. They're competing with fiat currencies. They're building these closed monolithic systems where the system supports just one coin. And I love Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a great system, but it's only just one coin. It supports only one kind of a thing. It's a store of value called BTC, and that's it. Now, in contrast, what Avalanche is trying to do is it allows other people to create digital assets. And to do that, it gives them great flexibility. I mentioned the number one thing in front of blockchain adoption is lack of scale. So we solve that problem with a groundbreaking new protocol. The second thing is lack of flexibility. So if you look at, for example, what people are trying to use Ethereum for, or what they're trying to do in many different cases, in many different enterprise applications, they want to have flexibility in what they deploy. Well, we support that by allowing people to have their own virtual machines and by allowing people to create their own what we call sub-networks. And every sub-network can then have its own functionality embodied in its own virtual machine. So this is a very flexible architecture, and it's very different from what you see in traditional coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. So we are an enabler for other people to create their own digital assets. And that, I think, is the answer to your question. How is blockchain for business different? Well, it's different because businesses have unique needs. So, for example, somebody wishing to deploy a blockchain application for the Internet of Things, for embedded devices, they need to control the network. Well, they can't control the Bitcoin network. They can't control the Ethereum network. They also, it turns out, can't control the Avalanche network, but they can create their own sub-networks. And those sub-networks can communicate with the main Avalanche network. And from Avalanche, they can jump onto other systems like Ethereum and others. So what does that mean? Well, it means that businesses can control what happens on their own blockchains. They can create blockchains that are super high capacity. They can say, to join my sub-network, you have to have a lot of resources. This is not the default one. This is a high-speed one. Or they can say, to join my sub-network, you have to abide by certain legal restrictions. You have to be in the EU, in the European Union, and abide by GDPR, the data privacy regulations. Or you have to be in the US and abide by US regulations. Or whatever else the case might be, we can take into account local and regional laws. And so you can now have custom-tailored sub-networks for each and every jurisdiction in the world. And they can communicate with each other in private if necessary, or they can communicate with the public Avalanche network using the architecture that we provide. So this is what sets us apart. We have a very flexible architecture from the ground up that allows every company or every digital asset issuer to define specific assets custom tailored to their use case with their own virtual machines, with their own network participants, and with their own rules about how this asset ought to be.